Hi, I'm OutlawMyke.
Hey, I'm Crony Gamer.
I'm OutlawMyke.
I'm Crispy Dad.
I'm Julio_GX.
Hi, I'm Spaced.
It's Mark to the Future.
Hello, I'm Wekizz.
Hi, I'm Cagematic, and I'm a parent of Twitch. We're all.
Parents of Twitch.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are here live on the Parents of Twitch. I hope everyone's doing great today. Shout out to all the peeps here in chat. Thank you guys for joining us. We're here with me, Cagematic, OutlawMyke down below me, Wekizz to the diagonal of me, the Stream Wizard, and our special guest today. You guys all know him. He helped design the logos that are rotating up above us. Well, he didn't help. He did design them. Mr. Wicket. So let's give a round of applause for Mr. Wicket. I guess you guys can't hear it, but I'll clap. So yeah, man. It's nice to have you, buddy. I love your streams. Especially, I saw you the other day with the Star Wars Legos. That was great. That made me happy.
Yeah.
It brought the inner kid out in me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, those Lego games are great for that.
So, all right. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? What you do for a living? How many kids you got? You know, all the good deets, man. All the juicy deets. The juicy ones.
Mention cats.
Yes, cats. How many cats you have?
Yeah.
Dogs.
Cats bring views. Okay, so professionally, I'm a visual effects artist. I'm a compositor specifically. So what that means is I actually thought about wearing this t-shirt for it because I have a t-shirt. It's like Photoshop but with videos is ultimately what I do. So think of any movie or TV that you see where they have a green screen. I remove the green screen and I make it look like the people are in that environment and where they're supposed to be.
Sweet.
And yeah, so I've been doing that for 13 years now, something like that. I don't know, I lost track. But I have 2 kids. And we have a cat who is back there meowing, looking for my wife because there she goes. Because the universe revolves around my wife for that cat. And she's really going crazy about it.
Dog, she gets like she just barks at the door, just sits there and barks at the door sometimes, and I'm just like, what are you doing? Are you trying to like see if you can like maybe ESP your mommy back to the house or something? Or... So we understand. We get it. I get it. I got 2 dogs and 2 cats.
So it's separation anxiety.
Yeah, separation anxiety.
Yeah.
So
my cat Bill Murray had that when he was an itty bitty kitty.
That's so
I understand that one.
I got a question from chat. Dave Morey, would we have seen any of your work?
Yeah. You probably have.
If you're cool with talking about it, I mean, you know.
I can. No, I like talking about it.
I know some of those things like you might be under like an NDA or some stuff like that, maybe, or you know what I mean.
Sure. Yeah, like I can't tell you about anything that's coming up.
Okay.
I can tell you things that I've done.
Gotcha.
So my current show that I work on is This Is Us, which I'm sure a bunch of people have seen. And I was on that last season, and we're waiting for this next season to start. We're just dealing with, COVID. So then before that, I worked on the Sci-Fi Channel show Krypton.
Yeah.
Where it was
Really?
like about Superman's grandpa. Yeah.
Bro.
So I was on that. And then before that, I've worked on things. I've worked on things like Heroes 24. I've worked on Grey's Anatomy. I've worked on Heroes Reborn as well. And probably one of the bigger ones that a lot of people will know is I worked on The Walking Dead for quite a few seasons.
Well,
No.
No way, bro.
Yeah,
Prove
I
it.
worked on-
Nah, I'm kidding.
Well, you'd be in the credits, right?
No, unfortunately. Okay, so here's the thing about visual effects. We don't have a
okay.
union, so we don't.
Gotcha.
Unless of course you're like the supervisor,
Yeah.
you tend to not get that kind of stuff. So the company will get credits, but my IMDb does show like all that stuff as uncredited.
So it would say your company in the credits, and you work for that company. But so
Yeah,
technically,
exactly.
So technically, you are in the credits.
Right, in a roundabout way.
In a roundabout
On
way.
This Is
While you are in that company.
Yeah, and on Krypton and on This Is Us, what they do, like those shows, I've worked in a different capacity. I've been working directly with the post team, so I've worked as kind of like an in-house artist. Whereas all those other shows, I worked for a VFX studio where I was just one of many artists involved in it. So on Krypton and This Is Us, I did get special credits. Like they would kind of pick a random episode and they would just put kind of like a little special thanks with my name kind of thing. So that's how those have worked.
That's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah,
Very awesome.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. It can be incredibly stressful, but it's also been one of those jobs that anytime that it's been super stressful, I kind of chuckle and look at myself. I'm like, I'm getting paid to like bash zombies' heads in, so it's kind of, at the end of the day, it's fun.
So yeah, what
You
kind
make
of skills do you need? Like if someone asked you, hey, like what skills do you use in your job every day? Like as far as drawing, CGI, Photoshop, whatever it may be.
For compositing,
Yeah.
yeah, digital Jedi.
Magic. Yeah, I was about to say magic, the Force, maybe.
Force. For compositing, one of the biggest skills is you need to have like a good eye for composition. So understand and having skills in photography is really helpful,
Right?
because you need to be able to, we're dealing with things that are photoreal. And I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen stuff on TV sometimes or in a movie where you're just a little like, ooh, what happened there?
Yeah. So
That's
eye for
why it's
detail.
important.
You got to have a good eye.
Yeah,
for
having
detail.
an eye for detail, having an eye for, because a lot of times we're taking a CG background, or maybe we're taking like another show, and actually a show that I was lead artist on was Ray Donovan. And I was lead artist on that probably the second, third, and fourth, and part of the fifth season. And that one, he's in a car a lot in that show. And so he was always in a car with a green screen. And so we would go out and shoot plates around LA and or wherever they happen to be. And so we have to try to match the lens, because the lens and camera that they're shooting with on set is different than the lens and camera that we shoot with for the background plates.
Gotcha.
And what we do for the background plates is ultimately just mount a whole bunch of cameras to a car and go drive it around LA. And then, that would then get composited in behind.
Okay.
And so we'd have to match it, make it look right, have to change the focus of it. And so having that eye of detail to make two different lighting environments work. And then if we're dealing with CG, we have to blend the CG in, making sure that the CG has grain added to it to match whatever the foreground's grain is, so that in the end you end up with hopefully a really nice
Shot.
picture that ends up going to air or movies. I've worked on a couple of movies as well.
Ooh, do
I don't
tell.
work on those. I don't work on those as much, but I worked on, back in the day, I worked on Night at the Museum 2.
What?
And I also worked, that one was super fun.
Dude.
And then we also worked on Public Enemies, which was a Johnny Depp gangster movie back in like 2008, 2009, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And then like $1 Million Arm, which was a Disney movie, and probably I don't know. It all kind of starts to blend together.
Do you like
to be honest?
Do you like working on movies or shows better? I'm guessing probably shows are a little bit better for like income and stuff because they're like constant stuff. But like you personally, like when you're working on it, like do you have more fun working on a movie or a show?
Legend of
It
Floaty.
depends. Here's the. Oh yeah, Nuggy is he's one of my regulars. He actually
What's up,
in
McDino?
chat, McDino Nuggy. Shout out to Nuggy. He's my 6th follower, and he's been in like probably 99.9% of my streams.
Every time I come to stream, he's in there. Yeah, for sure. He's hilarious too.
And so we have this floaty that we have a pool in our apartment complex.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I was wondering what the heck that was.
Yeah, it's a giant like mermaid tail inflatable floaty, and it started to become like a thing that's like. I accidentally unmuted
Always on the stream.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, it ended up being in all my streams, and people started being like, "What is that in the background?" And so I'm gonna make an emoji out of it.
It's like a
It'll
legend.
be an
now.
emoji on my channel. Yeah, we're
floaty
trying to
legend.
turn it into a legend for sure.
That's hilarious.
You know what's always in my background? My
children?
son Kendrick's potty.
His potty.
Yes. if you saw my last video, I tweeted. It's about COD. I'm doing a gold medal for that summer games or something,
Yeah.
and there was a potty right there in the back of my camera.
Potty right in view. It's potty time. Oh, get it? It's potty time. Party potty. No. Okay.
We're luckily out of the potty training stage with our kids.
I'm dreading it when it comes up. I'm just.
I got one more.
It's bittersweet.
One more to do.
You got one more to do, and then you're done.
Got one more to potty train.
Have you
That's
started it
baby.
yet? Like, have you started?
Oh no, she's far too young for that.
Hey, so when are
she's
you
only 8
supposed to
months.
start potty training?
It's up to the kid, man. Usually,
When they
like,
show
we-
interest.
Like they want to, like,
Yeah,
like they stick their head in the toilet or something? What does that mean?
Well, for us,
Yeah.
for us, it was like when you find that they're holding it longer.
Yeah.
Like if they wake up first thing in the morning and they haven't peed yet, put them on the potty. You know.
Oh.
Yeah,
Like if they wake
You
up
know
with a
when they
dry
want
diaper,
to.
maybe they can hold it, or it's really just like Harley Quinn was a little bit harder. Zoe was, but every kid's different. With Zoe, we were able to use treats, stickers, and charts and all this stuff. With
Yeah.
Harley, we still struggle with her a little bit. I mean, the potty training's done. I got a potty, and drop trowel right there in the middle of the living room.
Oh, the
and
poop
run to
behind the couch
bathroom with
kid.
her-
Yeah.
Not really, but she'll just run to the bathroom with her drawers at her ankles, and like maybe have an accident on the way, And it's like, no, baby, just go to the.
It's good she don't come to you and say, "Dad, look what I got. Look, look, Dad. Guess what I found it."
She said, Dad, I made a mess, but I cleaned it up. Here, look, and there's poop in her hand. All right.
Oh, Eyeball says hello, Wicket, by the way.
Oh, hey, Eyeball.
Hey, Wicked.
Yeah.
Hey, Wicked, I got a question for you. And then I'm gonna dip out because I just made it home. But I'm gonna dip out and then jump back in. Anyways, what are some of the key differences between your work on movies and television shows? Are they generally the same, or are there some big differences in the two?
The biggest difference is time frame. With movies, you oftentimes get months of post time to do shots. With TV, it's sometimes a week.
Oh my god!
Depending on what it is. Yeah, depending on the show. If it's a VFX heavy show, you tend to get a couple of weeks. But I would say that average is like 10 to 15 days, I think. And the cool thing about TV now is if you look at TV VFX back in like 2005, even 2000 or 2008, even when I started, when I really started professionally, versus now. I mean, we're doing stuff in TV now that's just as good as movies of the early 2000s. I mean, I remember working on a pilot once that we had a couple hundred VFX shots, and even The Matrix didn't have that many VFX shots.
Holy crap!
And it was a pilot that we were working on. We cranked this thing out in like a matter of weeks, and it was just so many shots. Actually, it was the Orville. That was the pilot.
That's a cool show.
Yeah. It's really fun. It's really good Star Trek. And when we first were going to work on that, like we had a goal because we were one of the vendors on it. We weren't the only vendor. There was multiple different VFX houses working on it, but it was like we had a big meeting about it, and we're like, we're gonna make the best Star Trek movie TV show. We're gonna make, because at that time Star Trek Discovery was also being made, like it had been announced, and we're like, we're gonna make a better Star Trek than what Star Trek Discovery ends up being. Like that was our goal for like how the effects were gonna look. Like we wanted it to have that like feel. That's what Seth MacFarlane wanted. You know, he wanted that.
Gotcha. Are you a fellow Linux user,
yeah,
by the way? Are you a fellow Linux user? I'm kind of fielding questions from the guys, everybody in chat randomly, so I might interject one every once in a while.
Oh yeah, I see a couple too.
Do you stream in Linux or in Windows, by the way?
I stream in Windows, but it's because I mainly am streaming VR.
Gotcha. And
I have a Windows mixed reality headset, and I haven't been able to crack that egg yet. I also haven't really dug into it much. It's something that I'm like, okay, I should try to do. Yeah. It might run better. But yeah, the problem is the OBS Studio in Linux, it finally added browser source, and then I got another update that removed browser source. And I have a whole lot of browser sources in my streams. So I'm like,
browser source?
In the Linux version. It comes in and then it went out. It might be back again. This was like back when version 25 came out for OBS Studio.
I got you.
Drago says it's okay now.
It's running it now? Okay. All right, good.
You need to use a plugin, but it's working. Okay.
All right. So
okay. There's a plugin. Okay. Alrighty.
Wicked. I need your signature on the paper somewhere, and I need on the other side to write everything you put your hands on in TV series and movies. So maybe one day this thing will be valuable, and when these guys are showing off their Star Wars shit... Oh, sorry, I didn't want to say that. I will show off this thing. Something valuable, you know?
Interesting story about that. On The Walking Dead, when we worked on that first season, we ended up getting... That was the first time in my career that I actually got stuff like that. I got a random letter from some person who had searched IMDb and had found out who all these people were that worked on it. And this dude was such a fan that he was sending stuff out. And it kind of made me a little nervous, because it's like you get some random letter with this person asking for like a signature and all this stuff, and you're like, whoa, like, what is this? But then I found out that a bunch of other people at work had gotten it, and so like the VFX supervisor, he took his stub from the premiere, because they had like a big world premiere down in Hollywood on the other side of the mountains, and he sent that to the guy with like his autograph on it and everything, because the guy just wanted to make a binder of like the Walking Dead TV show. So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Talking about that, Dave Morey wants to know, do you ever, let's see, what did it say? I'm sorry. I just had it, damn it, and it went away.
Oh, about the parties?
Yeah, like, do you ever like get to meet like the people? I think that's kind of what he's trying to say. Like, you ever get to meet anybody or be a part of the cast parties, stuff like that?
On occasion. So for like when we were working on the second season of Walking Dead, I'm so not good at remembering actors and actresses' names, so
Bro, it's all good, man.
that's a disclaimer right there. The kid who plays, what's his name, Chandler, who plays Carl, he came in and just kind of walked around. We got to meet Carl, but I mean that was when he was like super young. That was like second season, so he was still like.
Carl is boring. Come on, give something better. No, I'm kidding.
Or Ray Donovan, we got to go to the rap party for that, and so I got to meet Liev Schreiber, and I got to meet. Oh gosh, see, I'm totally blanking on like actors' names. I got to meet a couple of the cast and everything. And for the most part, they tend to be pretty cool people.
Yeah.
And This Is Us, like we see the main cast quite a lot, actually.
That's a pretty big show.
I've been on. Yeah, I've been on set a couple of times when we have like, had a big rap party, and so everybody was there for that and everything. And for the most part, they're all like super chill, like fun to talk to.
Yeah. How are celebrities? Are they all a-holes? Are there like some? Are like, are there like real people where there's some are a-holes and some are really nice? And
I'm sure some are, and I'm sure some aren't. Like, so far my experience has been very positive.
Yeah.
Like I've not met anybody who's been super like standoffish. The two main guys on Krypton, like they were super fun guys. Like when they showed up for the rap party and when we were watching like the season finale, we had already learned that it wasn't going to be renewed for a third season, so everybody was a little bit bummed, but we decided to have like a big get together, and like those guys were super chill and just, they were just one of us. Like we all just had a great time. But so far, yeah, I haven't met anybody that's been super like don't talk to me.
you're
But
like, I'm better than you.
I think for the most part with a lot of them, like if you're at a restaurant and they're there eating, like don't bombard their table, like maybe if you look over and catch their eye, you can wave or something.
Yeah.
But like for the most part, they're just people trying to live a normal life too. They just happen to pick a job. At the same time, I also think that if you go into that career and you're willing to become a big celebrity, you have to accept that that's part of.
Yeah, there's going to be people that are wanting to.
What you're signing up for.
Right. People want to like rip a piece of your hair out and go, put it on a shrine or some crazy shit like that.
Yeah.
What was that movie where someone was carrying Madonna's poop in a small jar on the necklace?
What kind of movies are you watching, bro? Jesus.
You don't know that movie?
No, what is that?
It's a pretty good movie. I mean, it's some comedy or something, but seriously, there was that part.
Oh my god.
I'll find that movie and I will tell you which one was that.
Oh my god. I think I might have choked a little bit on some drink right there.
It wasn't Lord of the Rings, come on, seriously.
Oh my god. Madonna's poop in a little container. Now I gotta Google that eventually and see what the hell that is. All right. So now I have a question that I gotta ask you because I wear one as well. You wear a kilt.
You.
Right? So why do you wear a kilt? Do you like
No,
wearing
no,
a
no.
kilt?
Wait. First of all, what is a kilt? Someone might not know.
Whoa.
Oh,
We don't, okay. So explain to us what a kilt is, why someone might wear it, and how awesomely freeing it is to wear one.
You already said
Okay.
why you need to wear it. Okay.
He might have different reasons,
So-
you know.
Traditionally, kilts have been worn in a couple of cultures, but they're probably most famously known in Scottish culture. That like back in the day, like if you watched Braveheart, as historically muddy as that is,
Yeah.
a lot of people have seen it, so they know. Yeah, it was attire that they wore, and back then they would have worn what's known as a great kilt, and ultimately it was just a big long piece of wool that they would ripple on the ground into different pleats. Then they would lay down on it, and they would put a belt under it, and then they would lay down on it, and then they would just roll it over themselves and hook the belt, and then they would stand up and take the extra and bring it over their shoulder and hook it. And so it was all just one big piece of cloth that they would wear.
Right.
Then eventually it ended up bleeding into where they started making more of like, fabricated ones to where it's like, it goes around the waist. They started having family tartans. So different clans had a different pattern, that kind of thing. But most all of that was smushed out.
What
And so
clan do
they-
you represent?
I have a family heritage in.
Oh, there is a clan. Damn, that was a good question, apparently.
Yeah, like I have family heritage in the Ross clan.
Oh, gotcha.
So my mom's mom is a Ross,
Sweet.
and so yeah. So on my mom's side, I go back to Scotland pretty quickly. Then on my dad's side, it's much further back. It's like the 1700s is back when we would have been in Scotland. So
Nice. I actually wear a kilt as well, and my dad's side is Scott. It was used to be the Johnston clan, and
Okay.
they changed it to Johnson without the T. I never found out why they changed it. I guess that was like a thing for immigrants. Like they wanted to be more, they wanted to fit in more, I guess, or like when they told people their name when they came to the country, they misheard them or something. Like I've heard different stories from like my parents and stuff like that. But yeah, I love wearing a kilt, dude. Every time I go out to like any kind of Ren fair or some kind of costume place, like I wore my kilt when I was at Dragon Con one time, and it was like a Obi-Wan Kenobi kilt costume that I had, so it was like a Scottish Obi-Wan Kenobi sorta deal going on. That was fun. But yeah, it's I just thought that was really cool that you did that, man. I don't meet a lot of people that wear kilts.
yeah, it was it's kind of was something that I always was interested in doing. Like I liked the concept of getting one,
Right.
and then I was working on the TV show Outlander, and I kind of started talking about it again to coworkers. And at this particular VFX house that I worked at, we did something called Fancy Fridays.
Ooh.
Because in my job, like I wear like t-shirts like this. Like I go to interviews dressed like this sometimes because it's like it's not as like formal. So what we decided to do was every Friday we would people would show up with like vests and bow ties and dresses and stuff like that. And so
Cool.
it was like okay, like let's maybe I'll start wearing a kilt. And a bunch of other coworkers were like, oh my gosh, that'd be so awesome. You should totally wear a kilt and everything. So I ordered one and I started wearing one, and I was just like, wow, this is really comfortable. Like, and then it kind of was just like that to where I would just wear it on Fancy Fridays. And then I moved on to the next job, it was like, oh, well, I was wearing a kilt there, so I'll just go ahead and keep on wearing it. And it just started more and more and more and more that I wear it. I mean, I think I've probably worn pants once in the last like 2 months now. Like, it's really just, I wear a kilt every day at this point. So it's also been really hot, so it's really comfortable in the heat.
Okay, the question is, do you wear anything under it? That's what's on everybody's mind.
So my favorite answer to that is when Mike Myers was presenting Sir Sean Connery for recognition, and he came out fully kilted. He was on stage and he said, so the question is anything worn underneath the kilt? To which my response is, no, it's all in fine working order.
Oh, man, that's good.
By the rule, you should wear something under or not. There is some kind of rules, yeah?
Traditionally, you're supposed to not wear anything under it.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's free, a lot more freeing, and you can move about quickly and, good, like, stuff like that.
Yeah, you can move around way quicker with that. I can imagine.
Underwear is completely...
You can also shoot way quicker with that.
There you go.
You know what I mean.
Oh, I know. All right. Let's see. What do we got? Well, Wekizz, do you have a question, buddy? Before I go on?
About the kilts?
Well, about anything, brother. Or kilts, yeah.
No, I haven't tried anything except my mother's skirt, but that's all.
Why your mother's skirt?
Look at his. But now I'm looking forward to try out kilt.
Oh, you're gonna love it.
Mm-hmm.
Once you go kilt, you never go back. I was trying to come up with a clever saying that. But
damn, it looks amazing. You know how much time I needed? Like I need like 5 streams to watch you until I understood. Damn, he's wearing something different.
Right? You gotta pay attention.
Maybe those are very wide shorts. No, those are not shorts. And then someone started discussing nice kilt. And I'm like, whoa.
The people who spot it the most is I have a couple of people from the UK. Dave pops into my streams a lot. I'm like his morning radio, just like I'm yours. And I've had a couple of people from Scotland that are just like, whoa, like you're totally wearing a kilt. Awesome, man. For clarification, Scots don't just walk around wearing kilts all the time. Like they wear pants, but they wear kilts traditionally nowadays, I believe, just for like formal.
It's like wearing a
attire.
suit, sort of, kind of.
Yeah. It's like their version of it. If they're going to a wedding, they kilt up, but they don't just. They're not like
kilt up.
Yeah, they're not just like running around kilted all the time. Like I think Americans especially probably have a bit of a skewed view of that.
We have a skewed view of everything, man. So, I mean,
kind of do.
Autobots kilt up. Oh, I mean transform.
All right. Your username, and I actually, when you sent this to me, I actually was curious about this too. I think I might know, but I would like for you to explain and tell us where'd you get Mr. Wicket from, and what's is the underscore? Is that just because someone else had Mr. Wicket, or it was just like, you know what, I want to put an underscore just to be like to drive it home. You know what I mean? Make me
a lightsaber. Lightsaber.
Is that what
now it's a lightsaber.
I can answer. I'll answer that one first. Yeah, Mr. Wicket was already taken. And I've scoped out their channel quite a few times, and they appear to have no streaming. Maybe they watch streams, but I wanted it. But now I'm okay with the underscore because Wekizz here. He set up like a little logo for me, and he turned the underscore into a little lightsaber with a Beat Saber block being split. And I was like, that. Why didn't I even think of that? That was amazing.
It's like it was meant to be.
So, yeah, like it totally was. One of those moments where you're just like, why didn't I think of that? A dumb smart. But so Wicket, where I got Wicket from is back in high school. my two best friends. My other friend, he has the exact same first name as me, and they were already Han and Chewie. And Han drove a old police car that was nicknamed the Millennium Falcon because it was the fastest hunk of junk in the state.
Was it old Ford
Yeah,
Taurus?
and it was an old. No, it was even older than that. It was like an '80s
Or Crown
police
Victoria,
cruisers.
I mean, sorry.
Yeah, it was kind of like the boxy Crown Vic Chrysler kind of thing.
Yeah, gotcha.
So, not Blues Brothers, but not the Taurus. So they would roll around on that, and then when I became friends with them, they were like, "Well, he's Chewy, and he's tall. He's like 6'5". And at the time, I was maybe like 5'9", 5'10". I was pretty, like my freshman year, I was pretty shrimpy. I grew I feel like I grew a foot between my freshman and sophomore year.
Holy crap.
So I used to get my mom used to make the jokes of like, oh, why aren't you standing up in the picture? Oh, you are. Ha ha. Oh, thanks, Mom.
Freaking mom jokes, man.
Mom.
But so I ended up.
They love
we
you,
were trying
Mom.
to.
Yeah,
Love you, Mom.
We love you, Mom.
I was trying to, we were trying to come up with a nickname for me, and they were like, "Well, you're, he's Chewy and he's tall, so Ewoks are kind of like short Wookiees, so you'll be Wicket." And at first, I kind of was just like, ah. Then it worked for me because the girls really thought it was cute. Like they liked the Ewoks, and so got a lot of dates out of that. I was like, okay, I'll be the cute one. I'll be the cute one.
Little furry bear races,
so yeah,
absolutely.
I grew up in the wrong country. Ladies don't watch Star Wars in my country.
And they're missing out.
A lot of them don't here either. But
Yeah,
if
they
you
don't.
show them a teddy bear, they're on board with it.
They don't realize it's Star Wars. They just think, oh, cute teddy bear, that's adorable.
Yeah.
So Star Wars.
When is that teddy bear showing up in Star Wars?
Yeah, why
Somewhere
does
in
that
the
teddy
end.
bear have a spear and he's like trying to kill someone in a white outfit? That's weird. But yeah.
Yeah, man.
So that's
It's
awesome.
just little Ewoks.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that's how I got it. And yeah, there's an entire segment of the population that I've met that they don't even know my real name. They just know me as Wicket. So it's just
Was that your wife that left? She also called you Wicket.
Yes. She's gotten into the habit of calling me Wicket, especially when she knows like I'm on stream and stuff.
Kind of keeping you in character.
Yeah,
Reggie,
just so
call
we can...
me Wekizz when I'm on stream, okay? Thank you.
Please, thanks.
Reggie is my wife, so now she knows.
There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, then the Mr. part of it, just like when Gmail was first coming out, a friend of mine gave me an invite code, and somebody out there, there's other Wickets out there that they took wicket@gmail.com from me, and so I was like, well, maybe I'll just add Mr. to the front of it. And then it just kind of became a thing. So any social media thing, I'm either Wicket or Mr. Wicket on it.
Gotcha.
And that's just kind of been my thing forever.
It's easier when you try to like keep everything enveloped under the same name
type
thing, because then it gets confusing.
I want to try to update, because on Origin for like Battlefront, I'm Deviant Ewok. And I would like to try to switch it over to be Mr. Wicket, just so that, if people want to find and play games with me and everything like that, it's like trying to keep it under one umbrella just makes it easier.
Sometimes it's hard, man, because like there might be nobody that has it on Twitch or Instagram or whatever, but then someone has your Twitter name, like me, like some guy has Cagematic, and I he hasn't posted in like 6 months, and I was just like, man, really? Damn it. Twitter name.
Yeah.
Biscuit.
And you always run the risk of like, if you contact them and say like, hey, like, do you think you'd mind giving it to me? Yeah. Like if you have any kind of success, then they're not going to want to relinquish it, because they're gonna expect you to pay them or something. They'll try to like hold it or.
I own that
So it's like,
name.
eh.
I own that name before you did. You must pay me 10%.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, that's how Mr. Wicket was born.
Gotcha. So
Great story. Everyone have such a great story for their nicknames.
it's very true. Yeah, everybody has a little backstory about their names and everything and why they chose them. So yeah, people are asking in chat pretty much where I was going. It's talking about streaming. What do you stream, and why do you stream it? And I mean,
Okay.
you know, like I know you stream Beat Saber, and you stream some other things, but you know, talk to us about like what games you stream, what you like to stream. Like I saw your wife. Sorry about that. I saw your wife when you were doing the Lego. She was kind of like chilling beside you. I think you guys were playing together, like a co-op or whatever. So yeah, just tell us a little bit about that, like you know why you did it and why you started Beat Saber and playing that and what kind of equipment you use, because I know you use VR headsets, so that's kind of cool. Not a lot of people. I don't see a lot of people streaming with VR headsets, so it's kind of neat to see you, like you know how you interact with chat and everything like that.
Yeah. I think with VR, we're a smaller segment of the gaming industry. So like on Twitch, I mean, we maybe are 5 to 10% at most, I'd say, of streamers, because everybody else is playing like just traditional games. But yeah. So to get into that, I'll back up a little bit and I'll talk about Beat Saber in general. So my buddy, he got a Vive pretty early on, so I had played with that a couple of times, and I thought it was really cool. I mean, it's a different gaming experience for sure. Like you play VR for a couple of hours, and you come out of the headset, and you're just kind of like, "Ooh,
It's weird,
I'm
right?
back
You're
in
like
the real world."
transitioning.
Yeah, you have a bit of there's a bit of a transition period where you're just like, I would say that happens less to me now. Like I do it so much now, I think I'm more used to it. But back in, I'd kind of always been wanting to pick one up, but I wasn't sure which one to get. I wasn't sure, and I also didn't want to spend a lot of money. So I kind of had my eyes on the Windows mixed reality things, because those would pop up on eBay for like $200 to $300 all the time, and as like either refurbished or used. And so I was like, okay, like I think I'll do that, spend a little bit. If I don't like it, I can resell it and I'm out, but if I do like it, I can always upgrade later, kind of thing. So I saw a deal where somebody was selling their Samsung Odyssey Plus, and out of all the Windows mixed reality headsets, in my opinion, it's the best. It has the highest resolution. They're OLED screens, so like you get really good contrast ratio, and it's Samsung, so there's some good company behind it, kind of thing.
Right.
So
it's not a piece of junk.
Exactly. So I picked it up for $250 on eBay used, and I got it. And I had already gotten Beat Saber because it was on sale or something, and so I had already picked it up even before I had a VR headset. I bought it because it was super cheap, and I was like, if I ever get VR, I at least have it. But if I don't, and then it ends up being $30, I might be more hesitant to buy it. I have thresholds with games. Like I hit the Steam summer sale like like crazy, and just hoover up stuff that's like $4 kind of thing. So I started doing that, and then it turned into something that was like a really good workout. Like I started noticing that it was working out, and my job, I sit around a lot, so I was just kind of like, okay, this is something I can do to get some more activity.
Right.
And so I started doing that, and then I just started actually seeing results. And then I started kind of mixing a little bit of intermittent fasting with doing it, and I started losing weight pretty well. I think in like a couple of weeks, I had dropped like a couple of pounds, kind of thing.
That's awesome.
So,
and plus, it's a fun way to lose weight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can someone transfer pounds and kilos in chat? Thank you.
Yeah. We'll get a little. Maybe we need to get like a bot or something that will transfer, links and measurements and all that good stuff.
Yeah, like your time zone bot.
Yeah, like your time zone bot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
but from links and measurements.
So I started doing that, and then I really started to get into it. And then when quarantine happened, it kind of became a thing that I was doing this workout almost every night, where I was playing for about an hour. And streaming had always been something that I was just like, oh, this is kind of interesting. So like,
Sorry. Dave Mori with pounds. He just transferred to dollars. Come on.
Nice, Dave. It's that English humor right
Kilograms, please.
there.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
That's great. So I kind of had always been interested in streaming, and I was just like, well, hey, maybe I'll just go ahead and start streaming my workout on Twitch, because why not?
Yeah.
Maybe some people will be interested in watching me work out. And so I started doing that.
I got you.
And then it just kind of started to grow more and more, and quarantine just kept on going. And it was just like, okay, and then I started to get a little bit more serious about it, and really started to I made more of a schedule that I was trying to keep. And yeah, so Beat Saber is my main game that I stream. And it's usually Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or -7 UTC.
Gotcha.
Can make that translation. But then I guess I had tried a couple other games earlier on. I had played some No Man's Sky. I was playing Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and so I kind of was streaming those super early on. But and I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate. When you're first starting, it's what do I say? What am I supposed to do?
Yep.
Because you're used to just playing a game, and you're just playing a game, and then it's you realize that you're sitting there silent. So what I kind of started doing with Beat Saber is I just started talking as if somebody was actually in chat. I just would I'd be like, oh, I really like this map, or oh, that was really complicated, or yay, I beat it, just kind of things like that. And it got me a lot more comfortable with just kind of being in that mode. And so yeah, I'm wanting to try to throw some other games in there. I'm thinking about throwing Battlefront 2 in. I kind of recently got into that pretty heavily.
I like it, man. It is fun, dude. Playing with friends, especially if you have some friends you can play with.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's awesome. Even if you don't play multiplayer, play online with other people. You can play the against bots or whatever. That's still fun. Yeah, it's still fun because the bots are not they're not awful. They're actually really skilled, and they'll kill you pretty quickly.
You die plenty from them.
Yeah. So it's fun. It's fun, man. It's a fun game to play.
Even split screen.
The co-op mode.
Even playing split screen is fun on that game.
Oh yeah, man. Plus you get to be a Jedi. That's all I need to say about that, I guess, really.
I like being the bad guys.
Like Count Dooku?
No. No. The Jedi are the bad guys.
Okay.
I like bad guys too, then.
Oh shit! Building my shirt.
So okay, you know what? Speaking of Star Wars, I know Wekizz is gonna hate this. But
wait. We still have Beat Saber. We get your Beat Saber. You have some cool mods. Tell to our viewers that they can request song and something more.
Yeah. So Beat Saber, what makes it a fun game for streaming is it has a really big modding community. So people can make their own custom maps to songs, and then they upload them, and then all you have to do is add them, which then led to people creating a mod that is a queue. So you can go to different websites, and you can look for the song you want. If there's a map for it, both of them have a way to click on something that will copy a code to your clipboard that you then just have to paste into chat. And then when that command is pasted into chat, it knows what it is and it adds it to my queue. And then when I click on it, it'll automatically download it to my game.
Gotcha.
And then I can play it. So it's a great way, if you have a bunch of people in there and they want to hear a song, or maybe they play the game themselves and they're just like, oh, I really like this map, you know, you should check it out.
Yeah.
And then you get, you know, it's an easy way for people to be able to interact with me, and it's like, oh, here, play this. And there's a lot of songs that are based on memes, and that's where Nuggy in chat comes in. He has all the meme songs, and so he likes to throw those at me. And
he's like a memeologist.
silly.
And the bombs.
Yeah.
And drop the bombs.
Yes. And then, one of the other mods that I have is it's called Game Changer, and what it'll do is you can type !bomb into chat, and it'll put like a little RGB bomb replacing a note.
Yeah.
And so if I slash through that note, the username comes up on screen. So
What
it's
an
like, it's a
a-hole
fun
you
way.
need to be to do that.
I mean, it's designed to trip me up because, for one thing, it replaces a block. So if I didn't see which direction the arrow is on the block, I don't know which direction to slash through it. So I could end up.
You know what would be cool to mess you up? Make your view upside down. Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Too bad there's no mod like that.
There's another mod that's called Game Changer, and what that does is it builds up charges in the chat, and so each game modification requires a certain number of points to do. So you can type !GM space rainbow, and then that will make all my blocks turn to rainbow colors. So they just cycle colors, and so you have to know which lightsaber is, or which saber is the right color to slash through it. But it does have a mode. If you put in reverse, it actually makes me have to turn around 180 degrees, and the blocks start coming at me from the opposite direction.
Oh man, that sounds crazy.
Yeah,
I prefer lightsaber.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, that's what it is. And my lightsabers, I chose they're dark sabers. They're the dark saber.
Gotcha.
So from Mandalore.
Yeah, I do like
Star Wars fans.
I do like the whole thing, like choosing your song and stuff. It's neat to go in there and like think of a band, like, oh man, what band you like and everything, and you go in there and look for it and find, oh, I love that song. I want to see him, and then you get to see, and you get to hear the song, and you get to see you. Sorry about that. Emergency alert.
Ruh-roh.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I think that's like, it's sweet because you can interact with chat. It's like awesome. You know what I mean? It's perfect for streaming. Oh my God, what's happening to you, Wekizz? You're going.
Sorry.
You're like shifting through time or something, man.
Yeah.
Are you all right? Are you still?
Come on, man.
A little
Practice the spell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm practicing this spell.
It's pretty cool.
Okay, so since Crispy Dad mentioned about Squadrons being VR, how much space do you need to have a VR setup? Like my studio here is just, I mean, I'm like I'm touching the walls here, man. Like I want VR, but I don't have space for that. I feel like I don't have space for it.
For Beat Saber, there's two different ways to play Beat Saber. There's people who play like super ranked, like they're trying to get the scores, and a lot of times the way those guys play is it's just like they're standing still and they're just like, going like that. Me, I dance around a lot, so this space behind me is perfect because it gives me plenty of space to jump around and do what I need to do. Depending on the song, I move a lot. Like I get into it. I'm like flash dancing, jazz hands, club. But so I mean, I'd say though, like I've seen some people that have about as much space as what Cage has there, to where it's like,
I can dance, but it's very, very limited, as I'm sure some of you have seen. But I have to kind of go this way and then immediately turn around and go back that way.
But moves were good.
Yeah. You learn what is too extreme and what's too far, because you might throw your arm out and whack the bunk bed, and then nobody wants that, because then you're hurting, and so
VR has
Gus
How
slash
often do
Drago
you
says
hit
five.
someone while you beat sabering?
Yeah, do you hit? Does anybody ever come in like the middle of it and you don't know and you go?
Punch in
They're
the
like,
face.
"Hey, Dad, what? Whack!"
I think I've hit a kid once. I've almost stepped on my cat a couple of times because she'll come at my feet. She'll like lay down and try to attack my feet because they're moving. And probably the worst that's happened though is my one of my child number 2. She ran behind me and she stepped on the cord.
Hold on, I'll be right back, guys.
And just pulled my whole like almost pulled me straight back. And it was like, oh, okay, let's not do that. Like, so for the most part, when I'm playing, they kind of know the rule is to not get in my space. Probably hit my controllers together probably more than anything. That's the mod that I want. I need to find a way to like have a little counter that shows how often I hit my my controllers together. Because I mean, it's got to be in the hundreds. I've hit them together so hard before that it's rattled the batteries and they've come uncontacted with the contacts and the controllers shut off.
Oh,
So
no.
just like whack, and you're just like, oh no, left saber's gone. Like trying to turn.
How
it
many
back
people
on
here
me.
has played DDR in the past? Remember Dance Dance Revolution?
Yes,
Anybody?
I love
Oh my God.
DDR. DDR was so good.
Man, when I was in high school, we used to walk to the mall. We were mall rats. Like back in the day, the mall was the place to be. And they had this big DDR machine, and we would walk to the mall and play DDR all day long. Like, how in the hell did we afford playing DDR all day long at the mall? I have
Oh my
no
God,
clue.
I would pay a lot of money to see you on that machine now.
Oh, dude, now? Hell no. Hell no. Like, dude, I sucked back then. Oh, see, I'm smacking my microphone over here. I sucked back then. Now? Oh, dude, what? Nah. We used to have this dude that would play DDR, and it's like his torso and his upper half would be just like rigid straight, and his legs would just be going crazy. Just doing nothing. Just beating them like the hardest songs and just standing straight. Just craziness. Craziness.
Style.
But that Beat Saber game looks like something I could do. I could dance around, man. I could do that.
No. I'm becoming a second Mr. Beast. I'm buying you that DDR somewhere, and you're dancing it.
This dude. I'll do it. I'm down.
That will
Buddy
be your
actually has a
streams.
couple of.
DDR
stream it.
streamer.
You buy, I fly, baby.
Oh.
Hey, old surf dad, welcome in.
Tap Revenge.
Yeah, DDR. Yeah, there's a couple of clones of them and stuff. Like my buddy, he has a couple of DDR pads that I think they were PS2.
Oh yeah, we had them. We would practice on those.
Snipped. Yeah, they were modded, so they were snipped, and a USB port was put on the end, so they could be used with a PC.
Mm-hmm.
So and he still has them. I've helped him move like 3 or 4 times, and every time I'm like, "Are you going to keep these things still?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Are we ever going to use them?"
I've seen people make like custom
Saber
platform
collab.
and
Yeah,
like,
there we go.
dude, it's crazy.
Maybe that's what I'll do. Is maybe I'll be like, "All right, dude, bring them over. We'll do a stream, and we'll just get him and I, like streaming some DDR or something."
Do it.
I'll just see if I can figure it out.
You need
I
to
mean, I
make
would
first of all a concept picture, something you're standing on that pads with the Beat Sabers in VR, and you just write a comment in Twitter. Beat Saber just became way too easy, so I connected DDR next to it. You know.
What they're doing in in Beat Saber now to make it more complicated is they have something that are called sensory maps. And so they're maps that are ultimately sensory overloads. So the blocks are dancing around, they're glitching and taking shapes and flying, and they use the walls because like the game has walls that you have to dodge out of the way of or duck underneath. But they're like can now build like 3D objects out of them. And I mean they're kind of breathtaking at times. Like the first time I did one, when they first started to come out, it was just like I just stood there because there was like little stars like flying past my face and everything. And it was such a like immersive experience. It was like, wow, this is super crazy amazing. And now like there's tons of them, and they're just super fun to do. Yeah, it's pretty like serious. Like the modding community and all the mappers and everything for the game, like they're the ones that make it happen. You know, like every time the game updates, like it breaks all the mods, and those guys just freaking crank all their updates out, and usually within 48 hours you're completely back up to where you were with everything working again. So, huge shout out to them for sure.
Do the game developers have a stance on the mods on that game? On modders? Like some game developers are against modding of games.
Here's my thought on it. Is I think so Facebook ended up buying the studio that created the game, which made a lot of us nervous when that happened. But so far nothing's happened. My feeling on it is I think that they kind of just turn a blind eye to it, because if they try to stop us, they know that the mods are their game. They know that if they lost that, they would probably lose 3/4 of their player base. And so like they're not gonna try to stop it. So instead they just don't acknowledge it, probably for legal reasons, because I mean we're playing songs, people are just like, oh, this Pink Floyd song, or this whoever, like I'm gonna make a map for it, and like my videos get muted for copyright stuff all the time. It's like, oh, okay, there was they muted part of your VOD because it's a song that is being broadcast. So it's a gray area. So
I think they're learning from mods way more than.
Wouldn't Twitch have to make an exception? You're streaming a game and the music's licensed for the game, right?
No,
well, they're not licensed.
Oh no, it's the map. Oh, so these are modded maps.
Yeah.
With like
I think even some not modded are also copyrighted already.
Yeah,
Is the Linkin Park, the new mod that just came out?
Yeah.
Not mod, the DLC, Linkin Park.
DLC,
I don't think you can play that to be like not muted.
No, it probably gets
muted.
Yeah, it's not licensed.
You don't have a broadcast. That makes sense. Yeah. That's crazy.
GTA is muted. Yeah, Forza Horizon is muted also, most of the songs.
Yeah.
It's a music game. Like that would almost
Cage is muted?
remove that
No,
game
Cage is not muted.
being able to.
I am muted.
Cage was muted.
Yeah, I'm muted because I didn't want you guys to hear my kid crying. Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, like Red Dead Redemption 2 and stuff like that. Yeah, you guys, the DMCA, like I already talked to the guys, but that's why it's all these VODs are getting copyright strikes and stuff like that, because you're not licensed to broadcast it. You're licensed to play it and listen to it with your own ears, which is weird. It's like a weird workaround how they're like, oh no, you got to pay us even more money to do that.
Yeah.
So
well,
it's just like
the music industry
is like a movie
in a weird spot right now, because
it's
touring. You can't
true.
tour anymore. You don't sell CDs and records anymore. Everything's streaming, and there's really, I mean, how much money is there really for record labels and music creators in streaming to begin with? Look at how much money's in it for us. We're content creators. Look how much money's in it for us streaming. Think about music creators in the same fashion.
It's very true.
So
I would be okay with having like a percentage taken out of any monetization that I have, or maybe I have another ad during my streams or something like that. Like I would be okay with doing something like that, if that meant that my VODs didn't get muted.
Totally agree with this point.
Yeah.
Really good idea.
Yeah.
Just take.
No, but
If I don't make
it's-
$100, what can they take from me? You know. But
Well,
if I make like Ninja, then definitely that would be a good price for any music
just
makers.
make the percentage, you know.
Man, Ninja's stream makes me want to just, I don't know, just his intro just makes me want to make a stream intro video. Like, I saw that and I was like, oh my God.
it sucks. It really sucks, man, because it's like playing a game without music. It just,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I mean,
Like
it
it's
definitely- I go back and look at some of my VODs because I want to highlight something or something. You're like, oh, well, I guess that song's not going to get highlighted.
and it's
because they've
not
already muted it within 24 hours.
right, and it's not just Twitch, like YouTube. It started on YouTube, I think, and that's where it got really crazy. Was there was all these like big YouTubers who play video games, and like they would go back and like their entire 30-minute video that they made is muted. So it's like, okay, now I have to go in and take that sound out. If they can even do that, if they record it without the layers of sound and video and stuff like that, then you're screwed. You
Doesn't
just-
work that good inside the YouTube, but when I make video highlights and stuff with songs I don't really know will they get strike or not, if they mute it, then I save my highlight for, let's say, a week or something before I know is it muted or not, so I can correct it. But in reality, everything now is muted. Before there was a thing, fair share. You could share like 30 seconds of any song. That was okay. But now even 3 seconds is too much. They can even mute 3 seconds. So can you
That was
imagine?
like a 2 years ago, a year and a half ago that that
It was 30 seconds.
that changed.
You could do at least the
Yeah.
intro of the song, at least the verse, something. Now, even alert, you put alert on your stream of your favorite band, and
Yeah.
boom, you get muted for 2 minutes in that alert.
I'm hoping they don't start doing it with like movie scenes, because those are like all my alerts are freaking from Star Wars movies. Like every
Right?
single one of them is from. So then I have to go back
I
to
added a whole bunch of sounds.
Yeah, I'm praying that doesn't happen, but
Yeah.
you know,
Same here. Like I added a whole bunch of stuff. Like I added some commands. Like if you type exclamation bad feeling, it's Han Solo saying I've got a bad feeling about this. Exclamation pew pew is like the blaster sound. So I mean, I don't know what kind of, if there's any kind of copyright risk with those or anything, but
maybe if COVID goes away, it'll. Because I think that might have something to do with it. I think that might be why people are getting crazy about it, because most of the time they just let it lapse. Because there was, how many years have people played on Twitch and played like super popular songs while they're just listening to super popular songs on like YouTube or Spotify, and nothing happened to them for years.
I think Old Surf Dad just nailed it in the chat, because it's, and Hawk.
That's true.
Hawkseye 88 as well. It's like sometimes it depends on the record label. Like Warner Media Group, that /Dragos put, they're every time if it's Warner, it gets muted for me.
Yeah.
So I think it depends on the record label, and then the technology has just gotten better to be able to catch it.
That's why I like to go.
The worst is Facebook.
Oh yeah.
Facebook, I tried.
Oh,
to
you're
stream
right.
on
No,
Facebook
you're right.
a couple
Yeah.
times. Tried to do gaming on Facebook because I wanted some of my friends, my in real life friends and family, to see me playing Beat Saber. Like I was just kind of playing with that to test it, and I would get a warning, another warning, and then they would just end my stream. Just like stream ended.
Yeah.
I can't even connect to Beat Saber. I can't even start Beat Saber if I would stream from Oculus Quest straight into Facebook, because Quest supports streaming straight to Facebook. But as soon as I start Beat Saber, it's black screen, nothing more.
This is the best advice I can offer people. If you want to play cool music, this is what you should do. Like I have to do this every day because I have a website and a music group where we do features and stuff for local bands, and like bands that aren't really known very well, you know. And if you like a band, as long as they're not somebody like, you know, Audio Slave or some crazy ass popular band, if they're not a super popular band, send them a message on Facebook and say, hey, can I have permission to use your songs while I stream? Because when a band is like, look, they get to a level to where they're like, okay, we're just looking for free promotion, getting their word out there. Eventually they'll get to a point to where they say, okay, now we want to flip it and we want to be paid for everything where our stuff's out there. But you got to catch them before that and get permission. And then so if you catch them in that and you say, hey, can I use your, you know, this album and this album, and I'm going to play it on my stream, and people are going to be listening to it and asking, hey, what's that song? And then I'll be like, you know, hey, listen to this band. It's a great band. And most of them, literally probably like 90% of the time, the bands will just be like, oh, absolutely, man. Yeah, go ahead. And then you don't have anybody coming after you for it.
You can even get free games like that.
Yep. And if any of you guys are looking for free, we only do rock music, but you guys let me know. I know a ton of bands who would love to give free music and let people use music. So, you know, you guys let me know and I'll talk to them. Like, all you got to do is I'll send you a link or whatever. And, you know, it's like I said, it's only rock music. But if you like rock music and you want some free rock music to play on your stream, let me know. But what were we? What questions were we? What was the last one I was looking at for you, Wicket? Oh, okay. We already talked about what some of your favorite games are, right? Beat Saber, obviously. You know what? Yeah.
We didn't really get into that.
Do you play? Like, I know you like playing Beat Saber, but do you play different games when you're alone than what you play when you stream? So what kind of games do you like to play when no one's watching, I guess is what you would say?
I'd say kind of my
Super Seducer.
The Super Seducer 3000.
Yeah, the KFC dating game, 100%.
What? Is that a real thing? Wait a minute. Is that a real thing? Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Extra crispy.
That's like this weird game on Steam called Taking a Shower with Dad or some weird crap like that.
What?
I'm like, what the heck is these people playing, dude?
You're too far in, bro.
Bro,
that's like getting down too far down the YouTube rabbit
I
hole,
went into
man.
one of these Discords that people, you know, you know how you get
know what I'm
invited,
talking about.
and I went in there and I saw this guy playing this game, and I was like, bro, what are you playing? What are you playing, bro? And he was like, oh, it's fun, hilarious. And I was like, okay. So I went and YouTubed, and I shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done that.
Ironically.
Right.
Play
And
this game ironically.
yeah, I'm like, sure you do.
Ironic.
Sure you do, buddy. I'll yeah.
Hey,
All right.
Zeke, you've had a great question. Can we make a Parents of Twitch Spotify playlist? That's just, you know, authorized small bands, artists who have given us permission to use on our Twitch streams.
But someone needs to keep an eye on that playlist, so as soon as it gets copyrighted, we need to remove it and stuff.
Right.
It'll be a little bit pain in the butt to keep an eye, but
I could do it. I have like emails with these bands and stuff. Again, I don't. If I did it, it would only be for rock bands. It wouldn't be like for. I don't really know a lot of hip hop bands or like country bands. So I could start we could start a Spotify with all the. I think Wekizz is already working like with like some of the music that we have. That people have put in Discord that we know is copyright free, like people can use it.
I was trying, but
it's hard.
Didn't find anything like Spotify only, so I just sticked with the ones like Gunsmith.
I got you.
Gunship. Oh my god, Gunship. I love it. That one, but it still gets muted on some countries if you put it on YouTube.
So what I'll do is I'll work on some local bands that they're not really super popular, right? So like on their Facebook, you know, like Metallica has what, like a couple million followers or whatever. These bands have like 5,000 followers, 6,000, 8,000, 10,000. So if you guys are interested, Yeah, if you guys are
Hey, man,
interested,
that's
yeah, or
something
two.
we could all work on. That's
Yeah.
something we could reach out in our local communities and try to maybe see if there's local bands of interest that we all like. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just thinking about
Exactly.
that. We could go on, think about trying to go, I know people that are in bands here. I know people that make music here and be like, hey, yo, let me play your music on my stream and let my friends play music on their stream too. And it'll give you,
So
all
when
the
you do that,
publicity in the world.
and everybody should do that, and you guys can send it to us, and we'll work on getting all that stuff on a Spotify list, because I get that's probably the easiest way to do it. So like Mike, Wekizz, if you know Ziggy, Hawks, Ulcer, everybody in the chat and in Parents of Twitch Discord, if you know of a local band that you like, it doesn't matter what they play, country, hip hop, rap and R&B, rock, whatever, jazz, ask them. But what you want to do is you want to get an email. You want to send an email to that, like go to Facebook, find out the band's email. Then you talk to them, you send an email and say, do I have permission? You need to get it in writing, basically is what I'm saying. Some kind of message or email that says, yes, you have permission. Because that's what I have to do to cover my butt.
Proof.
You need
Yeah,
proof.
you need proof.
Because this is the thing. You might have a band and then one guy breaks up and he says, oh, I didn't give permission for you to use that. And then you can say, yeah, I've got permission from the band, and you know what I mean? So you have written permission, and they can't really, unless they're really a bunch of a-holes, they're not really going to do anything. But it's just to cover your butt. Yeah. So if you guys want to do that, I say go for it. Send links. But
can we just make like a channel in the Discord?
I think we already
like,
have. But we could.
We have a music channel.
We have free music channel.
Yeah, we have free music.
We have. It's like
Where is it?
Allowed music for stream use. Yeah.
Correct.
Something.
So
a bunch of good YouTube channels as well, like with royalty-free music and things like that. And yeah, like hitting up like certain.
Thanks for hanging, Dust Lester Ego.
Certain YouTube channels, like there's a bunch of bands that have YouTube channels as their outlet, and yeah, just going in and asking them like, hey, can I use this for this? And 10 out of 10 times they say yes, because like Cage said, they're super eager to get stuff out there.
Yeah, and that's a way we can help. You can help a band out, and you can help everybody else out, because they'll be like, oh my God, they might even tune into your stream and say, holy crap, you're really actually playing my music. And then you never know, you might have the lead singer of a band come in and say, holy crap, that you are actually playing my music. And then he might say, hey, and get his fans to come in and watch you stream. You never know how that might work out.
Cross promotion, baby.
Right. And they're getting free, their music played constantly for people. So, if you guys can, you just got to be very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Thorough when you're asking for permission. You need to get some kind of written document that says, yes, you can use that. Or like if you're in a band.
How about we put together a template? Just something that's we can make it like a insert name here and copy some copy pasta.
God, we need a copyright lawyer. Does anybody in the chat know a copyright lawyer?
That's what we need.
Yeah, exactly. European. That's a part of a dad joke, by the way. European.
That is.
Uh-oh.
Hey, so speaking of Parents of Twitch, how did you actually become a member of Parents of Twitch, by the way?
Okay, so there was the Reddit post about, I don't even remember who it was who created the post. Was it one of you guys?
Yeah, I created it.
Cagematic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was Cage. Okay, yeah, you had created a thing about like, hey, are there any other parents out there that stream? And I just commented on it, and we were actually on a road trip back from my parents' place, and like when I left, that was the extent of the conversation. Then when we stopped to charge about halfway home, I had gotten a message from him about joining this Discord. And I was like, oh yeah, sure, that sounds like a really cool idea and everything. And just like by the time we got home, I just had like tons of messages. This thing just kind of exploded like really quickly.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's really cool that this happened so quickly. So yeah, like I was in pretty early with it, and you know, it was a super cool thing. Like I really liked the concept of it, of just all of us have one thing in common, or I guess those few things in common, that we're parents and we stream and play video games. And so it's like it immediately created such a great community for us to be able to go into, that it kind of removed the whole like awkward
the introduction, right?
oh hey, like
Hey,
how are you doing?
what's
like,
your name? Do you like
yeah,
spaghetti? What kind of
immediately
sodas
had,
do you
like,
drink?
this common ground that we were able to like just jump into and talk about.
Well,
things
it
really
is.
quickly.
It's nice because we all have something in common, like automatically.
Yeah.
We at least have one thing in common.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I was streaming 2 years for literally kids, or not kids, teenagers that didn't accept me as a dad or a grown up at all, and it was weird to always
Yep.
like.
plus,
chat
they were
with
pretty
them that you-
trolly to you too, right, Wekizz?
Yes.
I remember you saying that you kind of was like dragging you down because it was like so there was a lot of trolling and stuff going on.
Apparently, most of them were just trolling all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah, it can be rough with that.
it's sad. Sucks.
Yeah, I think that's kind of part of Twitch's platform, though. I think
You're right.
Demographic, I think, tends to be, because the people who can really be on there a lot are, you know, middle school, high school kind of thing. And you know, I mean, that's how they get their entertainment. I've only had a couple of situations where I've had to like get after people in the chat of just being like, "Hey, come on, like knock it off," kind of thing. But otherwise, I considered myself pretty lucky for that. And I've gone in waves. Like I've had times where, you know, Beat Saber song requests have been nothing but meme songs, and I don't mind a meme song here and there. But when it's your entire stream, you know, you're just like, okay.
Yeah, it gets a little monotonous.
But I've also gotten a lot better at, you know, it's my stream, and if I decide I just want to do a song, there's nothing wrong with me saying, "Hey chat, we're gonna jump out of the queue. I want to do something because I want to play these," and then we'll go back to the queue. You know, just to kind of like fix it up. Because like you have to do stuff like that for your stream, because otherwise it just gets, you know. I think there's always a risk of burnout when you do almost anything.
Yep.
And so, like, you have to find creative ways to not get there, and to recognize when you are showing signs of burnout. You know, it's like, so that you can quickly make a course adjustment to avoid that, because otherwise, you know, it ends up becoming another hobby that came and went, and I have plenty of those.
Right. So do you like playing games off stream? Is there games that you do play off stream that kind of help you like get away from, because I know how it is, like playing one game a lot on stream and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
it gets, no matter how much you love it, it gets kind of monotonous sometimes. So like, are there certain games that you like to play off stream that help you kind of reset, so you're like, okay, you know what, I played a few hours of that game, I'm ready to get back to Beat Saber, get back to streaming, I'm pumped, I'm ready to go?
My go-to games are a buddy of mine and I, we play Grand Theft Auto 5 online a lot.
Love
So
that game, dude.
we'll just go in, create some chaos for a couple hours in the wee hours of the night, and call it a night. Also, a really fun game. That's just, it's so chill, and just like the art style and the studio behind it. It's such a great thing. Is a game called Astroneer.
Yeah.
And if you like survival games and space, it's right up your alley. And it's just such a it's a very peaceful game. It's kind of like Minecraft, like that, to where you just have that music that plays, and
It's
like,
soothing.
it's
It's
nice.
soothing, and
Yeah,
you can
you're
relax.
just kind of like this astronaut, and you end up on a planet, and you have to build a base and collect resources, and then you can build rockets and go to other planets in the solar system. And there's a little storyline to it, and it has multiplayer capabilities. I think you can get up to like 16 people
Oh wow.
going at a time. I think it would be actually really great. I think as a community, we should, getting more like community game time, even off stream, going would be kind of fun.
I've thought, I think that's a great idea. I've been trying to find games that are like really like a massive multiplayer game that and maybe set up days like POT days where we can have like an hour or two, and it doesn't even have to be like a long time. Like it could be an hour on certain days.
You just make it the whole day, and then as people come and go
Exactly.
in the time zone,
Right, and you don't. That's what I'm
it's
saying.
just like,
You don't have to play for 4 hours or 6 hours. You can just come in, jump in, play 30 minutes, and leave.
yeah, exactly.
I think that's a great idea.
And doing it with massive online games or, just multiplayer party games. Like Heave Ho is a really fun game to play as a party game. Or what is it? Not Knockout. Brawlhalla is a good one. So things like that. Yeah, that could be fun. But Astroneer is a popular one I go to. I play some Ark. And then I am a huge fan of the Arkham games and the Tomb Raider games. And I did recently start playing Assassin's Creed Origins.
Yeah, that's a good. I've been wanting to get that one. That's the one where you're ancient like Greek. You're like a Spartan and stuff, right? Is that,
okay.
No. Origins is you're in Egypt.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's Egypt. That's what it is.
Damn, there's so many that I don't remember. What's that one that I'm thinking of?
It's
One of our streamers plays it. I can't remember what the hell it's called.
Yeah, Origins has
that's I started Origins, but I never finished it. I just couldn't.
Odyssey. That's it. Thank you,
But
Hawk.
Origins,
Odyssey's the Greek.
I don't know. I couldn't get it.
But, so how do you like Origins?
I'm only in like the first. I've only played like 2.8 hours.
Yeah.
According to Steam, so I'm not very far into it.
Gotcha.
It's fun.
How do you like the combat style?
I think that's kind of my hang up on it. It's slightly different. I had just finished Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and then I started that one, and I prefer the combat style of the Tomb Raider games than versus it, because Assassin's Creed I think is a little bit more RPG-ish in some ways.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah.
It was a vast change from their previous control styles, and that's where my hang up is that it's not that it's a difficult control style, and it's very intuitive, but it's just different.
Yeah, that's what
it's hard to get used to that change, because you're used to playing that game franchise a certain style,
right,
and you have to change that style up now drastically. It's just
when you kind of end up having to relearn what you already know, it makes you stumble a bit.
Experts know. People that work in leadership positions know that it's easier to train someone new than it is to retrain someone out of old bad habits, and that's kind of where the hang up is on that game, trying to relearn out of old habits.
Oh yeah, that's where that saying "teach an old dog new tricks" comes from, man.
Your favorite Arkham game?
Well, I still need to play. It started Arkham Origins, and then what's the one after that? Arkham Knight, right? So I've only played the first two.
Okay.
So Arkham City was pretty rad, but I think actually my favorite would probably just be Arkham Asylum. I'm sure the other ones might change that, but there's always something about like the original of a game, and there's like a nostalgia factor to that. Like when they first roll Joker in, and it's Mark Hamill doing the voice again. It's just like,
that's
right
pretty
there,
cool.
you know? Yeah, and you're just like, and so like, I think like from that nostalgia standpoint, Arkham Asylum wins because it kind of was like, it set a new standard for it.
So
Tomb Raider wise, I think I think Rise of the Tomb Raider was my favorite between the three ones. As much as I liked Shadow of the Tomb Raiders, I really think the story from Rise of the Tomb Raider was.
So your answer to the Arkham question, being about Mark Hamill coming back as the Joker, I'm a big Batman fan. I don't know if anybody's ever noticed, but your callback to Batman the Animated Series, how far back into Batman are you? What are you? What level of a Batman fan are you? 1 out of 10.
Okay. I would probably be like a 6. Because like I would say Batman is one of my favorite superheroes. Like he's in my top 5 out of DC and Marvel. So I like Batman more than Superman. But my wife loves Superman.
Before we continue, I want to ask one small question. What special powers Batman have?
He's rich and he made lots of cool toys.
Rich and smart.
His brain. Batman is the smartest one out of all of them. Batman, even when Batman loses, he wins.
He's like the DC version of Tony Stark.
Exactly. Which is why Iron Man is one of my other favorites. I kind of like the concept of more believable Superman. There's like superheroes. My son will ask me, and I might have to really keep an eye on him for this reason, but he talks about like, if an asteroid hit me and I got superpowers, or if a chemistry experiment goes wrong and I get superpowers, and I always happen to be like, you're not going to get superpowers if you like blow up a meth lab in the bathroom or something, so it's like I like the superheroes that are more like plausible in our world as we know it. So, like technology could advance to the point where an Iron Man suit is plausible, whereas a child from a different planet being sent to our planet to escape the demise of their planet, and our yellow sun happens to mixing with their anatomy gives them superpowers and them protecting us, that's a little more far-fetched. Or
was that a Superman?
Yeah,
that was Superman.
Or
like mutations, or a lot of the popular ones are it's an experiment that goes wrong, or some mutated spider that bites you and gives you the abilities of a spider. I love all that, and that's all great and everything. I'm a fan of it all, but when it really comes down to it, like, one of us could be Batman.
Right. It's more plausible.
Yeah.
So you're a realist.
Okay, so I have a question. I hope this doesn't upset anybody. It's a question for everybody. Wicket, Mike, Wekizz, and everybody in chat too. So you guys are more than welcome to type your answer.
Star Wars question.
No, it's not a Star Wars question.
Okay.
DC or Marvel? Which
Marvel,
one?
of course. Come on, why we are so quiet?
Which one? Which one do you guys choose? Okay, so Wekizz, Marvel, Wicket, and then Mike. Which one you guys do?
Why do we have to choose?
You don't have to choose. You could say both. I'm just saying, is there one that you like more? Because some people like one over the other.
I say I like both, but I would have to lean towards Marvel.
Yeah, I'm a Marvel guy myself as well. Not that, and it's not that I don't like DC. I just Wolverine is my favorite character of all times, and like
exactly.
Yeah. So I used to like on stage when I was playing, I would have my fro parted to look like Wolverine's things, his costume, the yellow one, and I would like put product and stuff in there and stuff, and so like I loved Wolverine, like he's my favorite character, and it's not You don't have to pick one. So, I mean, do you like both of them equally, Mikey?
Well, sort of. I'm a Batman guy. Batman, number one. My middle daughter's name is Harley Quinn, but also my youngest daughter's name is Ivy Gwen. So I love Marvel too. Gwen Stacy's there too.
That's true.
So
I'd get some
DC
Spider in there.
DC Marvel. When you're looking at today's media, DC's television shows 100% wins over Marvel's television shows. Marvel's movies win over DC's movies.
Yeah.
DC's cartoons win over Marvel's cartoons. Comic books, to me, they're equal.
Yeah, and it's like you're right because there's different facets that people like. They might like the DC animated series better, but then I like the Marvel movies better or the comics. So Wicket, what's your favorite character? If you like, so you said you like Marvel. Do you have a favorite character that you're? I mean, I know you were talking about Iron Man, but is Iron Man your favorite, or is there another one that like you just relate to?
I think Wolverine probably would be one of my favorites. I don't know. I don't know if I really have a favorite because like I grew up on X-Men. I love playing the old X-Men game on Sega Genesis.
And the old cartoon, dude. I used to watch that all the time, bro.
I really like Gambit, and I really like Wolverine. I like they're my two favorite X-Men, and then like for Avengers wise, it would be Iron Man and Spider-Man. I'm a big fan of Spider-Man. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
No, the light's too bright. Deadpool versus Thanos.
Ooh,
nice. There we go.
Of course,
yeah.
Of course, Deadpool's gonna win.
Actually, it's so funny because they're fighting because they're both in love with death.
Oh yeah, I forgot Thanos fell in love with death. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Like I remember growing up, just with Todd McFarlane stuff.
Oh, bro, yes.
It's like all that stuff was so great. Like,
Spawn was.
In my buddies would just hang out and watch that stuff and read comic books in his room and get into mischief and it was just so great. You go to the arcade and play the X-Men arcade game, like so all that stuff has like a pretty rooted part in my life and everything. And yeah, but like I always have a hard time picking my favorites of things. Like I couldn't even tell you a favorite Star Wars character. Like it's just
okay. Favorite Star Wars trilogy: prequel, sequel, or OG?
OG, 100%.
Fair enough.
Least favorite is probably the prequels.
Yeah. Do you feel? Go ahead, Mike.
Why is the OG your favorite, and why is the prequel your least favorite?
Okay, so the OG, there's nostalgia aspect for it. Yeah, Wekizz is like, we're talking Star Wars.
I love him to death. It's so funny. Oh my gosh.
OG, they're not great movies, but they're great movies.
Right.
Like A New Hope or Star Wars as it was in the beginning, it really is long and drawn out. It takes a bit to get to the action sometimes. The acting can be kind of rough. I love it. Empire Strikes Back, though, it's just fantastic. It's cinematic gold.
To see what they did with what they had back then is amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love Return of the Jedi. I know a lot of people don't, but I also am disappointed that it's not what it possibly could have been.
Right.
Because I know that Lucas got a little distracted, which then leads to answering the next question of why I don't like the prequels or why they're my least favorite, is because he became disconnected from what he originally created and why. He became known as this technology pioneer, and he focused too much on that. Even as a visual effects artist, he went too far. Like,
Right.
he relied too heavily upon certain things. Now, at the same time, he did it again. He pushed us way forward with things. But I think just from a directing standpoint, from a filmmaking standpoint, like, he just dropped the ball on so many things. Like, they didn't have the same cinematic feel, and that's what I love about the new movies. Probably one of my more favorite things about the sequels is they cinematically are freaking gorgeous. Like,
Absolutely.
like you can pause on any frame of the new movies, and it's like you just print that out and put it up on in a frame on your wall, and it's
It makes you feel like you're there, you know?
Yeah.
Like you look at it and you're
Rogue
like,
One-
you feel.
Rogue One felt the most Star Wars out of any of them.
For sure.
Like it
Oh
had
man.
that like really good like nostalgic. Like, the problem with Rogue One is they were doing one thing, then it got re-edited, and they did the best with what they could with what they had. I
Right.
think, and I think it was just too rushed. It was like they had like 50 things that they wanted to put in there, but they only had enough space for 20 of them. And so they just like, ugh, instead of getting rid of a couple of things and having a much more fleshed out everything else. And to be honest, I think the entire sequel trilogy is guilty of that as well. I think they had too many things that they wanted to do, and too much of an agenda to try to achieve. And it ended up hurting what could have been a great trilogy of movies.
Very true.
Having said that, I loved them. You know, like, were they as good as the original trilogy? Like, no, they had tons of problems, but I freaking went and saw every single one of them, and I liked them. Like, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I wasn't one of those people that flipped the desk and said, "That's it, I'm out." You know.
Right.
So apparently, at some point, I think Star Wars fans became Star Trek fans, and we started like looking at the technical ins and outs of Star Wars too much, like, you know, space fuel, which has been in Star Wars lore since, you know, the beginning, really. Like, they had Tabana gas, like, that's Cloud City was Tabana gas, you know, and that was fuel for the ships.
That was their major export.
So,
yeah.
yeah. So, like, a lot of people just started to become like super critical of like the things that they were doing. My biggest problems is that they didn't, like with Leia, they should have, if they wanted to have Leia do so much Force, they should have had her in The Force Awakens doing more Force, so that by the time she was flying through space in The Last Jedi, it wasn't like a whiplash reaction, because it literally gave us all, we were just suddenly like, okay, the last time we saw her use the Force is she was just like, oh, Luke got off the Death Star, he's fine, you know. And then suddenly she's using like super advanced Force powers, and we're like, there's no explanation for this. There was nothing that led us up to it in the first movie, and it was a huge whoopsie, you know, on their part.
So, speaking of movies, kind of getting off the topic of Star Wars for a minute.
Yeah.
If you
We're
let's
gonna
say
have separated podcast for that.
if someone wanted to get into your business, what you do for a living, like let's say someone saw what you did and they're like, I want to do that for a living. I love what you're doing. What advice would you give to that person? Like, is there any advice that you could say, like, hey, you need to get you need to get a degree in this, or you need to try to go to movie lots and volunteer your time, or, you know what I mean? Like, is there any, like, something that took you forever to learn and you're like, man, this was so easy, I don't know why I just didn't do this in the first place. I could have, you know what I mean? Like, is there anything that, because I'm sure there's probably somebody who like loves the idea of what you do, and just, it's nice to hear from people who have done it for a while and really enjoy their job.
If I could do it again, I would skip the school part.
Okay.
I do have a degree in it, but I have never had to show my degree to anybody, and it doesn't mean I make any more or less money than the person next to me. It's not a field for that.
Right.
So as a parent, I don't want to say don't do college. So I would say go get like an associate's degree in general education. Like, that's what I'm requiring my kids of. Like, I'm like, you don't have to
Get a master's. Yeah.
Yeah, like, in fact, if they don't even know what they want to do yet, at least get that, and then you have that, and then when you do decide what you want to do, then you can decide what to do.
And that's the
We
thing.
have a huge problem in the United States with student loans.
Right.
You know, that's a whole other topic too. But for some reason, we ended up being a society to where it was like you finish high school, you immediately go to school, and like a lot of these kids are like super stressed out about what they're going to do after high school, and it's unnecessary pressure because you got time. You got time to figure out what you want to do.
Right.
If you already know what you want to do, then great, go for it. But if you don't, it doesn't mean you're broken. Like you just have to find out what you want to do. We also live in a society now where you can be a professional Twitch streamer or YouTuber. That wasn't an option for me. You know,
No, not back in the day. Not back in the day, bro.
And it's like, but back to the point of the question, like, I did go to school for it, but it was a waste of money, because really you can just learn how to do it. And there's a lot of places that you can do that. You can take some online courses to learn specific things, like if you want to model 3D objects, or if you want to composite, if you want to do any of that. Take some Photoshop classes. Learn Photoshop. Photoshop is a good base foundation, especially for learning things like composition. Get a camera. I mean, you have a cell phone. Like, best camera that you have is the camera that's with you. And so take that cell phone and go out and try to take good shots with it, you know? Like, try to figure out, there's like the rule of thirds. So like, let me try to do it with my hands here. So like if you break the screen up into 3 parts, you know, so like you want to kind of get your composition to where objects, you know, intersect upon those lines and everything. So like learning how to do basic stuff like that. Take art classes. Like, I know a lot of people that take traditional art and they draw all the time. And, you know, so learning basic art skills. Yeah, there you go, Wekizz. Learning basic art skills with, you know, form, shape, lines,
Wekizz.
shading, all that kind of stuff is really good. Get decent with photography. And then, you know, like YouTube is a great resource. There's tons of people out there that put tutorials how to do stuff. There's a website called videocopilot.com that you see tons of new visual effects artists come in, and you look at their demo reel, and it's like they're all Video Copilot tutorials that they just did their own version of them, kind of thing.
Right.
So like, that's the best thing you can do, is find a tutorial for something that somebody did and be like, oh, I really like that concept, and then just shoot your own version of it and try to recreate it, and just keep on doing it until you get it really good. And
Fun fact,
eventually,
college for that, I went to college for graphic design, and that's what we did for a whole semester, was doing After Effects and Video Copilot, just take a tutorial and recreate it for a whole semester. That's all we did. All we did.
That's a useful skill to have, because
messing around.
I mean, there's always going to be there's always going to be some sort of entertainment, you know? And there's
it's a pretty, I was going to say, it's a pretty good, like, solid field, like anything with, because there's UI design. So like our phones, you know, we have, you know, there are people that are making what those buttons look like, what those, you know, app drawers look like, those kinds of things, what the icons look like. So yeah, like programming and design, you know, film and television, like that stuff lasts, and it's always going to be around, you know. Right. It's one of those things that it's a pretty solid thing to try to go into. I'll also tell you though that it's not all, you know, in games all the time. Like, I definitely, when I came into it, had the rose-colored glasses on. I had just moved from Arizona out to California, so it was like Hollywood, and it's all the excitement of all that and everything. Then you know, get jaded, and
yeah, then your dreams get crushed slowly, and
yeah,
and then set on fire.
you want to go in and you're like, oh, I want to go and work on that next Harry Potter movie, or I want to go in and work, if they ever make more Star Wars movies, I want to work on it.
Right.
And I have quite a few friends who did work on the Star Wars movie, and I am mad at them because none of them ever called me and said, hey, we're looking for people. Do you want to come work on this too?
Yeah, you're like, it makes you question, like, are you really my friend? Do you
Right.
know me? Do you really know me?
I did get to work on one thing with Star Wars. One of the places that I was working at where I worked on Heroes and all those, like, I had worked at that place for like good 10 years or something like that. They were approached by ILM to do the live action Star Wars TV shows. And so we did a test for them where we were trying to get it as best as we could. And ILM came to us because we were doing things like Heroes, and I don't remember if we were doing Walking Dead yet by that point, but we had worked on
Oh man, you guys did Heroes?
Gravity. Yeah.
I love that show, man. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
So there was like a bunch of shows that we had worked on. It's like in a television time frame.
Yeah.
We were putting out like good visual effects and everything. And so whereas with ILM, I mean, they work on stuff for like a year to get that,
Right.
So like for them, they were just like, hey, what can you guys do to help us achieve this? And ultimately, we still just weren't able to get it down to where the budget was going to be below a certain point. And Lucas was just like, yeah, I think we're just going to have to wait. The technology isn't there yet. We'll check this out later. And then it was maybe like a year later that he sold to Disney. And so it was just like, okay, and now those have pretty much been permanently shelved. But we ended up with The Mandalorian. And so, that was great.
Gotcha. Wekizz, Mike, do you guys have any final questions for Wicket?
Yeah. So, about we asked how someone would get into that field, and you talked about learning the skills and not necessarily going to school. So I have two questions actually. One is, how do you get a job if you don't have to prove that do you have to like prove that you have the skills, or do you like just get a little base entry level job like rotoscoping, doing like the grunt work, and how demanding? This is the second part of the question here. How demanding is that start? Is that what really keeps people out of the business or makes them change their mind in the beginning?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. So yeah, things like roto. One of my first jobs that I was doing was something called dust busting. They don't really have anymore. And what dust busting is back when movies were shot on film, there was something that was starting to come about known as digital intermediate. And so what they would do is would shoot on film, and it used to just be that they took the negatives and they actually edited with the negatives. But then as they started moving to nonlinear editors with digital computer files, they would tell a scene. So they would scan the negatives, and it would make DPX files of each frame. So with film, you sometimes get hair in the gates or dust there, and so they show up as bright white hits. So go watch like any old movie, just like throw a VHS or a DVD in, and you'll see, like, if you're watching it, you'll see every once in a while little like boop, 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 little like specks that pop up.
The little pops,
Yeah.
And
that's what makes VHS
so
great.
We took a form of Photoshop, and we would go through frame by frame on these movies, and we would paint those things out. And like the goal was to try to get through at least 1,000 frames a day of just like, and it got like really good at it, because you would kind of like divide your view up into fourths, and so you just look in the upper corner and then down corner, and you just like go through like frame by frame by frame, and then you would just wait until like your eye would just kind of catch that pop, and then you would go back a couple of frames, and then you would find it, you'd paint it out, and then you would go on and everything. So yeah, I did that. And then for other things, as you work on stuff and do tutorials, something that you should emphasize on is doing things like rotoscope. So like just practice rotoscoping. Just rotoscope yourself off of something and put yourself on a different image, and then try to make it look like you're in that different environment. And then things like self burn-ins.
Can we explain what rotoscoping is for the chat?
Yeah, so like rotoscoping is you ultimately trace frame by frame an object or a person so that they can be separated from that background, be put over the top of something. So like if you don't have a green screen, or if your green screen fails you, which happens way too often, you go in and roto them out. And pretty much every single shot requires some level of roto. So it's something that you don't ever get away from, even as you go through your career. Like you end up like still doing roto, but like you might end up getting to a point where you have like, you're the senior artist and you have junior artists that they will do the roto for you. And then you just take their roto and, you know, so you don't, and then maybe you just have to go through and just kind of clean up a couple of things here and there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, like to get into it, I mean, just getting a demo reel, like that's really what it is. And a lot of companies, like when you apply, they'll have you do a test. So they'll give you a couple of shots. And they'll kind of like, how fast did you do it? How well did you do it? Did you end up needing help to do it? And that'll kind of determine what your level is and all that kind of stuff. So
Right on. Wekizz, you got anything, brother?
Oh, what's the difference rotoscoping the picture and a video?
Probably software, right?
What's the difference between
hardness level? I can rotoscope picture easy, but video.
Video as it moves. So you trace it on one frame, and then when you go to the next frame, you have to animate it to follow.
Holy cow!
Jeez, bro.
Yeah. So if you get somebody's hand doing this.
Oh my God, that sounds yeah. That
And,
sounds
like, so-
meticulous, bro.
I imagine the more you do
Do you enjoy your job?
A lot of times for roto, it takes a special person for roto. Like some people love it. I know people who are professional roto artists. Like they've been rotoscoping for like 20 years and they just love doing it. But you know, I mean, you just put on headphones, just put on some music, just
Chill music, and that can be a satisfying
And,
video. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That would be
sometimes
cool.
it's nice to just kind of like, especially like I've been lead on a couple of projects, and when you constantly have people coming at you and asking you questions, you know, sometimes it's nice to just like
Zone out, right? You can like
Go
put the
into
horse
it, like,
blinders on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
gotcha. Mike, what were you,
You
gonna
know-
ask?
Well, I forgot.
If it's
No, I
Star
got-
Wars, great.
Distracted. But Dave Morey has a question. In 10 words or less, favorite thing about streaming, but for parenting, probably a good question to ask every guest. So, 10 words or less, your favorite thing about streaming, and then we'll go 10 words or less, your favorite thing about parenting.
Yeah, I think that's a good ending question. Like, we should just at the end of the
so.
stream, we can kind of like, because you know, it's a good question. I think we should ask the same question at the end of the stream, like near the end
That's
of the
not a bad.
podcast.
Yeah, that's not a bad deal.
So yeah, Wicket, what's up with that, man? What's
Okay.
up with?
So, favorite thing about streaming, community, meeting new friends, making new friends,
Same here, man.
and I'm getting close to 10. Yeah, it's really, you know, fun and community.
Gotcha.
Here we go.
And for parenting, what would you say?
Favorite thing about parenting, when they're
Okay, least favorite. You make
There's
too long.
there's too many of those though, Wikis. There's too many of those. You gotta pick. You gotta pick something
we
that.
could have a whole podcast.
Yeah, we'd have a whole podcast about what you don't like about parenting.
So like, yeah, the parenting thing, that one I hesitate is hard because school just started for us, and so it's been a very stressful 2 weeks now of doing the distant learning thing, and trying to get them to do what they're supposed to do and not fight me and, you know, run to their room saying that they hate me and that I ruin everything.
You've ruined my
like,
life.
yeah. Like my son is like pre-teenage, so like,
Oh man,
the drama is starting to.
Oh man, I have 3 daughters. I dread those days.
Ooh, they're coming
And my
soon
son,
too.
my son has special needs, and so like that adds to it as well, because it's like it can be a lot of a challenge sometimes. But my favorite thing though is like those moments when you get playing Minecraft with my daughter and she's excited because I downloaded a new mod for her, or playing Lego Marvel Avengers superheroes with my son, and or as obnoxious as it sometimes can get, he's constantly asking me about superheroes and what movie is this, does this superhero have their own movie or TV show, and it's like I don't know. Like but
I like to call them blissful blips.
Yeah, blissful blips, that's a good word for it. Just like there's those moments when you just kind of really lock in with them, and it's sweet, and it's like their little sponge brains and their little sponge personalities, and seeing that like develop as they get older.
Yeah. Seeing them learn,
like,
man.
I will be incredibly surprised if my daughter doesn't stream in the future, like, which also scares the crap out of me.
Yeah, it's not much you can do. You could tell her, while you're under my roof, you're not going to do that. But it's like, it's almost like if you tell her that, it's almost like
she's going to be more inclined to do it.
Exactly.
But I hope want to do it. What I hope I can do is that I can gain enough experience that me and my like handful of followers and regulars can learn enough and experience enough that when it comes time for her to navigate that minefield of teenage boys, that
don't do this, don't do this, do this, don't do this.
Yeah, like, okay, just being mindful of certain things.
Right. You know what to avoid and stuff like that.
Yeah, know what to avoid, know what to, lay the band hammer down on, how to be assertive at like, no, I don't tolerate this kind of behavior in my chat,
Right.
And just
nip it in the butt. Exactly. Nip it in the butt.
Be willing to do that, which, especially as a beginning streamer, is very hard to do. I'm sure everybody that streams can relate. So
yeah. You want them viewers, man,
Yeah.
The real challenge is not only, see, I have 3 daughters, so I think if you're a parent that has, a child that, I have 3 daughters, you have a son and a daughter. I think the real challenge is not only do you need to be the example for what your daughter should expect out of a gentleman, but you need to be the rule book for what your son should be as well. I only have to be the example. I don't have to be the rule book too. So that presents a whole set of challenges that are just unprecedented in my line of thought, I guess.
Does anybody else, and I know we're trying to wrap up, but does anybody else have you guys experienced your kids playing like they're YouTubers?
I have a friend. Yeah, I have a friend. Oh, you tell Wekizz.
She told me today that years ago or something, when she was playing games, she was pretending that she's YouTubing, like a YouTuber talking to herself and playing a game. But when I was trying to show her what it means to be a YouTuber by recording her gaming, and sometimes we even stream together, she didn't really like it. She enjoys playing, talking with everybody, but when it comes to camera and interaction, she kind of, I don't know, don't like it.
Yeah.
So now when she asks me, I don't know, shyness or what, but when she asked me to play with her something like Minecraft, I said, let's do it on the stream. And she's like, nah, I don't know.
Yeah, like practice.
Yeah.
I've thought about doing that. I thought about playing like Lego Incredibles with Zoe on stream, but I don't.
It's like one of those fine lines to
Mike-
walk, dude. You know, it's
Yeah,
I don't know.
especially when they're a certain age.
yep.
You know, like having them when they're super young on there.
Yeah,
like,
how young is too young?
You know.
And like it just
Yeah,
it's like one
So
of
my
those
cousin-
weird areas, man, that
I have a cousin. His son is like maybe 6 or 7, and he's really good at Fortnite. Like this kid is, dude,
amazeballs.
amazeballs at Fortnite. Ridiculous. Like, it's ridiculous how good this kid is at Fortnite. And so my cousin's like, oh, I might start streaming again and just put him playing, but my cousin on cam and just the kids doing the playing and just not
Yeah.
on cam.
There you go.
You know?
they're doing chat management, they're doing modding, they're doing
and like even put the kids, like he was even talking about putting the kid's voice on, but just not on the cam itself.
yeah. Mm-hmm. No, that
But see, you guys have experienced it when, you know, we've been on here, or if I've been in stream and my kids will bust in, you know, and it's like, yeah, I'll hang out for a little bit, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm real iffy about.
it is a fine line, like, but like it is like a huge part of society, and it's like one of those like attainable things, like, you know, they can start streaming in high school and, you know, like become super popular and huge from it. And it's like we just didn't have that kind of exposure. Like I had a hard time even knowing how to get out of Arizona, like the town that I grew up in Flagstaff, Arizona. And like I didn't know how to get out. I probably could have gone and worked for LucasArts and fresh out of high school, because I was modeling 3D Star Wars ships that looked just like any of the ones in Dark Forces or, you know, Jedi Knight and stuff like that. But like I didn't know how to accomplish that next step.
Right.
There was nobody to look to see how they did that. And, you know, like our kids, they have like this world that's terrifying. And the best thing that we can do is like show them how to navigate it as best as we can, so that they know what to do. Like they also never experiencing the internet like I first experienced it, where you had like 1,000 pop-ups trying to take you to, you know, porn sites
Or Yahoo
like,
chat rooms.
Yahoo chat, like
Yahoo chat rooms.
Oh man.
But at the same time, they have Snapchat, to where people might be like, hey, come in here and here's a picture of this that you didn't ask for. You know, it's like
Mm-hmm.
things like that, you know. So the best we can do is, I think, try to show them like hey, this probably will happen to you, versus trying to prepare them for it never happening to them. Just like, look, when somebody sends you a pic of this is how you handle it. This is how you approach those situations, you know, so preparing them for it, so that at least when they hit that situation, they're better capable to manage it and not just get sucked down some like rabbit hole of like, you know, that becomes their life, you know. So yeah, you know, parenting joy.
What concerns me is like, my kids like to watch that Ryan's toy review.
Yeah.
You guys
Yeah.
ever watch that?
Yeah, he got a show, I think.
On
on
Nickelodeon,
Nick.
like,
Yeah.
you guys ever watch it, like get super deep into it and like end up seeing like they'll have like, you'll notice that they move from the house to the studio, and they're like running around in the studio with the producer, and they have like other kids that you don't really see that much, and like,
Oh, I didn't notice that. No.
and it's like once you get down that rabbit hole, as a parent, I'm kicking back thinking, well, I wonder what that kid's home life is like. Like, I bet.
Right. Are his
Everything's
other
all
kids jealous? Or are his siblings jealous? Are they mad at him?
Well, you watch the show and it makes you feel like a bad parent, right? Because they're doing
Yeah.
like all these science experiments and stuff, and they're doing all this extra stuff. But like, do they continue?
Yeah, what's it like off camera?
Exactly.
Is their life you know, is it like a Jackson 5 situation where, you know, the parent is the manager and, you know, just controlling every aspect of their life and treating them poorly, you know, that kind of thing. But I know it definitely leads to jealousy. Like I know my kids have looked at that and they're just like, oh, well, why can't we get this and everything like that? And you're just like, ooh, okay, come on, like, gotta, you know, look at, you know, they see all these things and they just want that kind of life to just be able to, you know,
The
get
freedom.
all these free toys,
The
you
freedom
know,
of it,
and
man.
unboxing videos. Like my son heavily played, he role played doing unboxing videos. He would, to our financial dismay, he would get the bag of Ziploc bags. He would put all of his toys in Ziploc bags, and then he would talk to his audience, and he would unbox all of his toys, and he would just go through and talk about like all of his toys that he has. But instead of reusing the Ziploc bags, he would get scissors and he'd snip off the top.
Well,
he's opening bags because they're
Yeah.
That's...
So he was doing like unboxings and stuff.
well,
I'll tell you what, I'm not at that point yet where Zoe's starting to mimic them, but she sure is wanting to do the same activities. Like we built a candy shop out of a real big cardboard box. We built, you know, she wants to build a, candy. It's all the stuff that Ryan does because that's her favorite right now. But we went through Blippi, Ryan, and it's all. And now it's like they watch YouTube Kids mostly and not much else. And we're trying to, and we kind of have like Nickelodeon, Nick Jr., whatever it is on the TV, and started watching that. And they started seeing what commercials are. And that's something totally different. And they're like, oh, everything comes on, every commercial. Oh, I need that. I want that. And we're not at the point yet where it's, why can't I have these things? It's, no, Daddy, I want this. Okay, what is it? We'll look into it. We'll put it on the list, blah, 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 blah. And by the time her birthday comes, she don't forgot about it. But, learning how to navigate that is going to be definitely a challenge that I kind of wonder if our parents felt the same way whenever we were that age, because, the toys these days are going.
it's true.
They're crazy.
I'm sure like our parents probably had to deal with the fact that, we had Lucky Charms commercial coming on constantly, or the, whatever the latest G.I. Joe action figure set was, or He-Man or Ninja Turtles. And like, we were constantly asking for those things. And so I think it's all relative. Like, say it's no different that, it's just what it is and how it is what's different. But fundamentally, it's all the same thing.
Right.
I've also really come to the conclusion recently that, like, looking to my parents for examples on parenting is, and this is nothing against my parents, they did the best that they could. But it's like they knew as much about parenting as I do. So, like, the most you can do is kind of be like, oh, hey, like, we've hit this situation, and if you want their opinion on something. But also, they're coming from a very different generation and different, like, world.
Different times, man.
Like for us, we're facing much different things that our children are facing. And so, Grandpa's opinion on, being picked on the playground is very different than what the view is now, and maybe we're a little bit soft now, but I also think that maybe we need to be a little bit softer as a global thing. Like, I think the entire world, like I've really been on board with the idea of just like, we are Earth, we're not like, sure, we have our individual countries. One of the things I love about the internet and about this is, and streaming is, like, I have people in so many different places that I would never have been able to meet before. And we're all the same. We're all in like this, we all like the same kind of things. So it's like, sure, we have our borders, but the internet opens those borders, and there's a much larger global world, Earth community that's available to us.
Yep.
And our children get to be pioneers paving in that. And so, like, we kind of just got to help them, like, hey, go do something great, go make the world your world.
Very true.
I think I'm gonna make one more thing. I'm gonna say one statement, and follow up to what you just said, and then we can wrap it up. Cage needs to wrap it up. It seems.
Yeah, my kids just started crawling just about 20 minutes ago. So
mine
sorry, I hate to. My wife just sent me a video of it, so I'm like, sorry, I don't.
No, you got to get out of that.
Yeah. So
as a world, as a society, we need to move from survival of the fittest to survival of the smartest, and the smartest get along. Speaking of children, we have interlopers.
Hello. How are you?
See, she wants to do a science experiment. Okay, we'll do a science experiment in just a few minutes. Go get everything ready.
Okay, so now keep the door open, okay?
My daughter just tells me when she already done with the science experiment and I need to clean up the kitchen.
Yeah. That's my kids, yeah. Science already happened and exploded on the dinner table.
Yeah.
All right. So,
do you know how my daughter eats lollipops?
Oh, how?
She takes a lollipop,
Yeah.
takes a hammer, smash it to small pieces.
Really?
And then eats it.
Yeah. I mean,
she don't like holding it in the mouth with the stick.
she's efficient. That's what it is. She's just all about efficiency,
yeah,
bro.
She's very efficient, yeah.
Well, if no one else has got anything, man, Wicket, I just want to say personally, thank you for your time, bro, and coming on. And
this was awesome. I'm really glad I was able to do it.
Yeah, I'm glad that you volunteered and came on, and I think you helped a lot of people, and I think it was very entertaining. It was entertaining for me to talk to you, and I love my co-hosts, OutlawMyke and Wekizz. They're my main men, and chat. It's just I love these Saturdays. It's just I really love spending time with you guys, and it's nice to get to know, because that's what really I feel like this is. We're getting to know you, Wicket. You know what I mean? Like, it's your time to where we can get to know you, and everyone in the chat can get to know you. So I just want to say thank you to you and Mike and Wekizz and chat, everybody. We really appreciate you guys, and I hope that this keeps going for many, many, many months, years, whatever it may be to come. So, Wekizz and Mike, Wicket, if you guys want to say anything.
Peace.